Some truths are stranger than fiction. Today, we uncover the realities you were never meant to know. We live our lives bound by what we can see, touch, and measure, confident in the solid ground beneath our feet and the predictable rising of the sun. But what if this certainty is merely an illusion, a carefully constructed stage upon which we play our parts? What if the very fabric of our existence is woven with threads of possibilities so bizarre, so profound, that they challenge the core of our understanding? We are about to journey beyond the comfortable confines of everyday perception into the shadowy realms where science and philosophy converge in unsettling ways. Here, in the liminal spaces of thought, lie concepts that whisper of a reality far more complex and mysterious than we have ever dared to imagine. These are not tales from fantasy novels or the silver screen. They are hypotheses born from the minds of brilliant thinkers, supported by the strange and often paradoxical laws of the cosmos itself. They suggest that what we call real is a fragile, mutable thing, perhaps one of many, or perhaps not even real at all. Prepare to question everything you hold to be true. Our journey today will peel back the layers of our perceived world, one extraordinary idea at a time. We will explore the notion that our universe is a sophisticated program, that our memories may not be our own, and that even death itself might be a doorway rather than an end. We will confront the deafening silence of the cosmos and the startling power of our own consciousness. Join me as we venture into the deep, unsettling waters of mind-bending realities. The truth, as you will see, is often hiding in plain sight, waiting for those brave enough to look. Consider the world around you. The intricate dance of a flock of birds, the unfathomable complexity of your own DNA, the very laws of physics that govern every interaction from the fall of a leaf to the birth of a star. It all appears so real, so tangible. Yet a startling hypothesis, one that has migrated from the pages of science fiction into the halls of academia, suggests this is all an elaborate construct. This is the simulation hypothesis, which posits that our entire universe and everything within it is nothing more than an incredibly advanced computer simulation. A digital world of breathtaking detail, created by a civilization far beyond our own. Think of the video games we create. In just a few decades, we have progressed from simple pixels to creating vast photorealistic worlds inhabited by artificial intelligences. What might a civilization 1,000 or 1,000,000 years more advanced than our own be capable of? It is not a great leap to imagine them running ancestor simulations to study their own past. We could be the unknowing subjects of such an experiment, our thoughts, emotions, and struggles merely lines of code executing in a cosmic supercomputer. Every decision we make, every love we feel, could be predetermined by an algorithm we cannot perceive. This is not idle speculation for some. Esteemed physicists and philosophers argue that the statistical probability of us living in a base reality is far smaller than the probability of us living in one of countless simulations. They point to the pixelated nature of reality at the quantum level, the mathematical underpinnings of our universe as potential clues. If our world is indeed a simulation, who are the programmers? And more unsettlingly, could they one day simply decide to turn it off? The very ground we stand on feels a little less solid under the weight of this extraordinary possibility. Memory, we believe, is the bedrock of our identity. It is our personal record of the past, a library of experiences that defines who we are. But what if this record is not as reliable as we think? What if our memories could be altered? Or what if they belong to a past that never was? This is the strange phenomenon known as the Mandela effect, where large groups of people share a distinct, specific memory of an event or detail that is completely contradicted by all historical records. The effect is named for Nelson Mandela, whom thousands recall dying in prison in the 1980s, complete with memories of news reports and televised funerals. Yet he was freed in 1990 and lived until 2013. This is not a simple case of misremembering. The shared details are often too specific, too widespread to be dismissed as mere coincidence. People remember the Berenstain Bears book series being spelled Berenstein. They recall a movie where a genie grants a character's wish to become a genie, a film that does not exist. They remember quotes from famous films that were never spoken. Each instance is a crack in the mirror of our collective history, a glitch in the narrative we all thought we shared. It forces us to ask a deeply unsettling question: whose memory is correct? Explanations for this phenomenon range from the psychological to the truly profound. Some suggest it is a demonstration of confabulation on a mass scale, our brains collectively filling in gaps with plausible yet incorrect information. But a more tantalizing theory whispers of something far greater. Could the Mandela effect be evidence of parallel universes, of timelines bleeding into one another? Perhaps these aren't false memories, but real memories from an alternate reality that we have somehow slipped away from. We may be living in a world that is subtly, yet fundamentally, different from the one we were born into. Of all the certainties of life, death appears to be the most absolute. It is the final destination, the end of consciousness, the great unknown from which no one returns. Or is it? A mind-bending thought experiment, born from the bizarre world of quantum mechanics, offers a startling alternative. Known as quantum immortality, it suggests that from your own perspective, you will never die. It proposes that consciousness is not extinguished, but rather, it sidesteps death by shifting to a parallel universe where the fatal event did not occur. It is an unbroken chain of survival, played out across an infinite multiverse. The theory hinges on the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. This interpretation suggests that every time a quantum measurement is made, with multiple potential outcomes, the universe splits. A new universe is created for each and every possible outcome. Now, consider a life-threatening event, like a game of Russian roulette. In the universes where the trigger pull is fatal, your consciousness ceases to exist. But there will always be a universe where the chamber is empty, where you survive. According to the theory, your consciousness, your first-person perspective, will always follow the path of survival. From an outside observer's point of view, you would certainly appear to die in their reality. They would mourn you and carry on. But from your perspective, you would experience a miraculous, seemingly impossible survival. You would continue to live, moving from one near miss to the next, growing older and older, perhaps witnessing the very end of the universe itself. You would seem impossibly lucky, a constant survivor against all odds. You would not feel the shift, nor be aware of the countless versions of you that perished. You would simply continue. Death in this reality is something that only happens to other people. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, is a sprawling city of stars, containing perhaps 400 billion suns. And our galaxy is just one of an estimated 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. The numbers are so vast, they are almost meaningless. Given this scale and the high probability of Earth-like planets, it seems inevitable that life, and indeed intelligent life, should be abundant. The universe should be teeming with civilizations, a vibrant, noisy cosmos full of signals, probes, and starships. And yet, when we turn our telescopes to the heavens, we are met with a profound, unnerving, and absolute silence. This is the heart of the Fermi paradox, a contradiction first posed by physicist Enrico Fermi. If the odds of alien life are so high, then where is everybody? The silence is a mystery that has haunted scientists for decades, and the potential answers are deeply unsettling. Perhaps we are simply too primitive, our radio signals too weak to be noticed, like ants on a sidewalk unaware of the highway roaring beside them. Or perhaps the distances are simply too great, the journey between stars an insurmountable barrier for any species, no matter how advanced. These are the more optimistic possibilities, but there are darker, more chilling explanations for the cosmic silence. Perhaps there is a great filter, some predictable and unavoidable challenge that destroys civilizations before they can achieve interstellar travel. It could be a technological singularity, a self-inflicted environmental catastrophe, or a natural cosmic event. The terrifying question is whether this filter is in our past or still lurking in our future. Or perhaps the most unnerving answer of all is that we are, against all odds, truly alone. That in this incomprehensibly vast universe, the fragile spark of consciousness has occurred only once. The silence, in that case, is the sound of the void. In our classical, everyday world, we are passive observers. Looking at a ball does not change its position. Measuring a car's speed does not alter its course. We assume that reality exists independently of us, a solid, objective stage that we simply witness. But when we zoom down to the subatomic realm, the world of quantum mechanics, this fundamental assumption shatters. Here we find the observer effect, a bizarre and deeply counterintuitive principle. The very act of observing a particle changes its behavior. Reality, it seems, is not a fixed state, but a dance that responds to our gaze. The most famous demonstration of this is the double-slit experiment. When particles like electrons are fired at a barrier with two slits, they behave like waves if unobserved, passing through both slits at once and creating an interference pattern. But the moment a detector is placed to see which slit the electron goes through, its behavior changes. It instantly chooses a path and acts like a solid particle, creating a completely different pattern. It is as if the particles are aware they are being watched and adjust their performance accordingly. The universe, at its most fundamental level, seems to be participatory. This has profound philosophical implications. If reality at the smallest scale is not definite until measured, what does that say about the larger world, which is built from these very particles? Does a tree falling in the forest make a sound if no one is there to hear it? The observer effect suggests that perhaps the tree doesn't even definitively fall until it is observed. It implies that consciousness is not just a witness to the universe, but is somehow intrinsically woven into the process of creating reality itself. We are not merely an audience, we are part of the cast, shaping the cosmos with every glance. We experience time as a constant, relentless forward march. A second is always a second, an hour is always an hour. It is the universal metronome against which all lives are measured. But one of the most staggering revelations of the 20th century, brought to us by Einstein's theory of relativity, is that this is fundamentally untrue. Time is not absolute. It is relative, a malleable, fluid dimension that can be stretched and compressed. This phenomenon, known as time dilation, reveals that the river of time flows at different speeds for different observers. There are two primary ways this occurs. Firstly, time slows down for an object the faster it moves. If an astronaut were to travel in a spaceship at near the speed of light for what feels like a year to them, they could return to Earth to find that decades or even centuries have passed. Their friends and family would be long gone. They would have effectively traveled into the future. This is not science fiction. It is a proven physical reality, measured in atomic clocks on GPS satellites which must constantly be adjusted to account for this very effect. Secondly, time is affected by gravity. The stronger the gravitational pull, the slower time passes. A person living at sea level ages ever so slightly slower than someone living on a mountaintop. The effect is minuscule on Earth, but near a massive object like a black hole, it would be extreme. An hour spent orbiting a black hole could equal 1,000 years on Earth. This warping of space-time means that the past, present, and future are not as distinct as they seem. It opens the theoretical possibility, however remote, of navigating this fourth dimension, of treating time not as a prison, but as a landscape to be explored. Of all the mind-bending realities we have explored, this may be the most isolating and existentially terrifying. It asks you to question not just the world around you, but your own mind and every memory it contains. This is the Boltzmann brain hypothesis. In the vast, chaotic expanse of the universe, over unfathomable timescales, random fluctuations in energy could, by sheer chance, assemble particles into a complex, functioning structure. And statistically, it is far more likely for a single self-aware brain to pop into existence momentarily than for an entire, ordered universe like ours to form. This hypothetical, spontaneously formed consciousness is a Boltzmann brain. It would flicker into being in the cold, empty void of space, complete with a full set of false memories of a life that was never lived and a universe that does not exist. It would have memories of childhood, of loved ones, of learning about the world, of watching this very video. And then, just as quickly as it formed, it would dissolve back into the chaos of entropy. The hypothesis argues that if you cannot be certain you are not such a brain, then you have no reason to trust any of your perceptions or memories. The idea is a philosophical paradox, a reductio ad absurdum used to challenge our understanding of cosmology and entropy. But its implications are profoundly disturbing. If the theory holds, it is statistically more probable that you are a solitary, momentary brain floating in the void, imagining this entire reality, than you are a human being living in a stable 13.8 billion-year-old universe. Every person you've ever loved, every sunrise you've ever seen, every thought you've ever had would be nothing more than a random, fleeting arrangement of atoms. It is the ultimate solipsism, a reality where you are utterly and completely alone. we have journeyed to the very edge of understanding, through realities that shimmer and shift like desert mirages. We have considered that our world may be a program, our memories echoes from another time, and our very consciousness an immortal traveler. We have faced the silence of the cosmos and the startling idea that we are not merely observers, but creators of the reality we perceive. Each of these concepts pushes against the boundaries of comfort, challenging the solid foundation upon which we have built our lives. They are not just intellectual curiosities, they are fundamental questions about the nature of what is real. The world may feel the same as it did before you began this journey, but a seed of doubt has been planted. Is the universe a stable, predictable place, or is it a quantum sea of infinite possibilities? Are we the masters of our fate, or characters in a script written by an unknown programmer? These are questions that science and philosophy may wrestle with for centuries to come, and the answers, if they are ever found, may be more bizarre than anything we have discussed today. The line between what is true and what is possible has become irrevocably blurred. What you choose to do with this knowledge is up to you. You can dismiss these ideas as fanciful speculation and return to the comfort of the known, or you can embrace the uncertainty and look at the world with new eyes, seeing the profound mystery that lies beneath the surface of the mundane. The universe does not give up its secrets easily, and perhaps the greatest truth is that we must each construct our own reality from the clues it leaves behind. The universe is full of secrets. Which reality will you choose to believe?